Welcome, no wasting time, let's go. You have to have your part in workspace representing car. Make sure it is looking forward. Create server script that will handle suspension because car will be later, but this is main part of the video. Get that part. Create loop that will every heartbeat do suspension calculations. And you have to have delta time. In my case I'll just put weight in variable and make table with suspension origin positions. Now to get these easily and understand where they are, you need to place the car on 0 position. Grab any other part, move it to any place you want. Look at the current position of part you are holding and now, front left is at this position. You can get others but I will just repeat and slightly change them. Now, write spring length memory table with some number or just as I did. Make loop that will do it automatically for every wheel, add maximum spring length and wheel radius. Now it is time to make suspensions work. Make for loop that loops in origin positions so every wheel will do its own suspension stuff. Now, inside wheel loop, get current car C frame for calculating where suspension raycast must happen from. It is easy. Just use the world space thing and look at this part. It will be always on front wheel position. Put that into script and raycast direction will be just cars down direction going distance of maximum suspension length plus wheel radius. Now put it all in raycast with default raycast params for now. Now I add simple raycast visualization and now you can see if raycast sees ground or not. Nice. If raycast hits ground you need to calculate suspension force. Get distance from ground. Remove wheel radius from it. And now the forces. Add stiffness and damper value. Stiffness force is how close to ground you are. Damper force slows move between frames. That's why you need table that remembers last spring length. This force must face upwards and now apply this force by using apply impulse at position. Now you have floating brick. If you wanna go with that already, to prevent brick falling for no reason, not really, make sure this part always owns server. Or make client have similar script. I have no idea where this type of floating brick can be used. I have it here just as rotating platform with no real use. Now as you see it does not look like car because there's nothing like wheels that do not let car go to left and right. To do that, you need to make it reduce velocity of x-axis relative to car's rotation. We will use to object space and get velocity at position in C frame. It will become position. That's why you need only rotations in car's C frame. Add wheel friction. Now just it will add opposite force to make x as 0 as possible. Try pushing car now and see. It goes on Z axis but tries to stop X. But now we are going for controls and making it an into actual car step by step. To avoid complicated stuff we are gonna use Roblox default vehicle seat. Put in model, add normal seat just for fun and weld them together. And now because of Roblox networking issues when you want cars driven and not driven by multiple players you will need to customly set cars network owner to player and server when there's driver or not. For that, set primary part on model. Make table and loop that will remember every existing car and do some stuff like prevent when vehicle seat has been occupied. Server sets network ownership to player that is now driver. Don't forget to make spring length memory for every car. Rewrite suspension calculation that it will calculate for every existing car. Now you can have more cars at the same time. And now make script for client. I think character script is enough. By the way, if you want NPCs driving cars too, clone part of code where you're adding forces from steering, gas and brakes that we're going to write in client script. So, let's begin with that. If player sits in the car, they will begin to calculate suspensions on their own. Now add a force from gas and brake. Just seats throttle multiplied by torque and max speed limiter. This will push car forward. Now steering. So steering angle will be number that will go towards number that player currently is steering. It should be modified car look at C frame with steering angle. Oh look, every wheel steers. Need to add check where only front wheels will add steering rotation. And now the car is drivable and it stays floating when exited. Now that you have something that looks like car only by its movement, it's time to make it reduce its ugliness. So, you have model, weld it to your primary car part and maybe make it massless, and see, it is flying away. This is because our raycasts think it is ground and car is trying to keep distance from itself. To fix it you can do stuff with collision groups, or I made raycast params filter the car. Wheels. Get cylinder that you want to have as the wheel. We will clone the same wheel 4 times, so do not worry. Hide the wheel somewhere like replicated storage. Wheels will be in their folder inside cart loop and set their name as table indexes. Collision must be false and weld them with welds, not with weld constraint. And wheels on right side have to turn for 180 degrees by checking if they are on the right side. Now the wheels look fine. Let's animate them, in quotes. Because you wanna not only one car animated, you need to loop through all cars that exist in world. Now I'll create folder that I was talking about to make it easier. Make table that will remember every car wheel rotation, every frame loop through all cars that exist in world. Just when raycast hits something, move wheel by spring length, and steering is just y-axis. And here wheel rotation is every frame local z velocity at position divided by magic number. Actually that division same as math.rat. Rotate with wheel rotation in x-axis. Now car looks good. Not mine, but I hope yours will look better. Now we are going to key binding. Because you want your headlights to be controlled manually instead of real world cars where they switch on when engine starts. Anyway. On client you just add bind action or do it with user input service, but I'm gonna go with bind action. Add remote event and just fire it to switch it, and this switch will happen on server. Server will check if player is sitting in car, and because the car model I stole has already lights in it I'll use them. So don't just copy this part of code like that. Let's go for door animations. But absolutely simple because my version of it is too complicated and too much lines. But don't worry, this one will be still okay to look at. So, you need to make doors be able to move around. For that make hinge constraints. Rename it same as seat. That's why I'll rename them and move them. Place attachments and rotate them so 0 and 90 degrees will align okay. Now the script part. Bind any button to it. And if player already is sitting, get him out with tween animation and don't forget to open and close doors. And if player is outside, find nearest car. Tell server about it with another remote event. Wait for server to open the door. Find nearest seat and sit in it after remembering player's position. Set seat weld to place you back after remembering previous C frames. Animate it going to original C frames. Now on server you just find car and seat without wait and open it. And also, there's little mistake, add that seats won't set network owner. Now it is done. Drive around, open and close doors. Now you can add spawn function that will clone car from some storage. And now for the end. Figure out yourself to make different vehicle properties. Just put attribute saying what car it might be, maybe make module script with all properties so you won't have to change 2 scripts at the same time. Engine sound from current speed. Make speed meter UI just by getting magnitude of velocity shoved in text label. Add your own animations in that car enter exit function. Realistic friction and other forces. Different camera angles switching with bind action. Smoke and tire trails coming from wheel and attachments move to raycast hit. And much more. Thanks for unexpected video popularity. Now I hope I cleared my comma. Like and subscribe.